드디어 하프앤하프에 한국어, 영어 자막이 생겼습니다.
Yeah, a bunch of commenters said they wanted subtitles on the videos. So now in YouTube, if you select the Korean closed captioning subtitles, it'll have Korean and English subtitles.
한국어라고 유튜브 자막을 선택해서 틀면 한국어만 나오는 게 아니라 제가 얘기할 땐 한국어로 그리고 찌프가 얘기할 땐 영어로 자막이 나올 겁니다.
So all you people learning Korean, learning English, we really hope that this channel helps you and the subtitles should make it even easier and better for you to learn. So thanks for watching and yeah, check it out.
아직 자막이 완벽하게 정확하지는 않습니다.
True. We haven't checked every single word to make sure they're correct. So there might be some mistakes.
실수가 조금 있지만 어쩔 수 없어요.
That's how it goes. Yep.
찌프나 저나 직업이 팟캐스터가 아니라 다른 일이 있기 때문에 저희가 일일이 다 확인은 못하지만 그래도 한 80%는 맞을 거예요.
Yeah, it does a good job. It's mostly correct.
그래서 추천하는 방법은 최대한 자막 없이 우리 팟캐스트를 이해하려고 하되 너무 안 들린다 할 때는 가끔씩 그렇게 자막을 틀어서 보는 것도 좋을 것 같아요.
That's a great method is try to listen without the subtitles, try practicing that way. And then if you don't understand something, you can go back, turn them on, watch it again, or maybe even watch the episode a few times. Repetitive listening can be really helpful for your studies.
그러면 팟캐스트 시작하겠습니다.
Okay. See ya in the podcast.
한국어 영어 반반 팟캐스트 하프앤하프의 정태용입니다. 반갑습니다.
And I'm Jeep. Welcome to Half and Half, where we talk about things in Korean and English. We have a great topic for you today, so stick around.
네, great topic. 네.
Am I praising myself? I picked this topic, but I think it'll be interesting. Yeah.
이번 시간의 주제는
Pets.
네, pets라고 하네요.
That's the easiest way to say it in English. Pets. Yeah. But
간단하네요.
yeah, it's very simple. I'm confused about the Korean term a little bit though, because I know there's two words. There's
맞아요.
애완동물 and there's 반려동물.
네, 맞아요. 애완동물이라는 단어가 옛날에 쓰던 단어고 지금은 많이 바뀌었는데
Yeah.
반려동물이 최신 버전이에요.
Yeah, that's what I understand, but I don't understand exactly why it changed. Do you know why?
그게 동물에 대한 인식이 그게 바뀌면서 바뀌었는데
Yeah.
그 애완동물의 그 완이라는 글자가 이것도 어려운 단어인데 완구의 완인데 일단 여기서 다시 바꿔 말하면 완구는 장난감이에요. 장난감.
Really? Okay.
네,
Like a toy.
완구. 네. 그 완구가 장난감이고 그 구가 아마 인형 한자일걸요 아마?
Sure.
네, 그래서 장난감, 인형 이런 걸 완구라고 하는데
Oh, okay.
그래서 예전에는 진짜 애완동물 그냥 집에 그냥 뭐 귀엽고 재밌고 그냥 그런 거 동물 하나 갖고 있는다는 느낌으로 옛날에는 그렇게 생각을 했었는데
I see.
점점 인식이 뭐 우리 그 키우는 동물은 장난감이 아니에요.
Right.
우리와 함께하는 가족이에요.
I see.
그래서 그 반려라는 단어가 원래 사람한테 반려인 이렇게 많이 쓰거든요. 반려인이라는 말은 그냥 뭐 아내 남편처럼 같이 살면서 뭐 보호해주고 정확한 뜻은 맞나 이거 모르겠는데 아무튼 그 반려인의 반려를 이제 동물이랑 합쳐서 반려동물이라고 하는 거죠.
I see. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I guess when I learned A1, I only knew the A, which is the love, right?
네.
And so I was like, oh, that sounds really nice. But then when you explain the one, I'm like, oh, okay, I see. It's talking about it's your property, it's your toy to play with kind of thing. Where 반려, yeah.
네, 맞아요. 그 property라는 표현이 잘 맞는 것 같아요.
I see. Okay. It makes sense then. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a similar way of explaining it in English. So I guess the English term pet I can explain a little bit too.
네.
It's like, how do you say, like 쓰다듬다?
맞아요. 쓰다듬다.
Yeah.
쓰다듬어요.
So the word pet is a verb, can mean that also.
맞아요.
So you imagine like petting a cat or petting a dog. I don't know if that's where it comes from. I'm not sure. I don't know the origin of the word, but
네.
that's I guess what people usually think of. Or at least that's what I think of.
근데 거기서 알 수 있는 부분은
Yeah.
애완동물이 있으면
Mm-hmm.
아니 반려동물이 있으면
Mm-hmm.
그 반려동물을 쓰다듬는 게 굉장히 큰 관련이 있는 것처럼 느껴지네요.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I think another word that maybe if you wanted to translate 반려동물 very directly into English, we could say companion animal.
네.
Like companion, we can say that too. It makes sense. And it sounds a little bit nicer than pet, I guess, but I
네.
don't know. Most people just say pet. It's considered a good term. Okay, but so with raising an animal,
네.
how do I say this? Have you ever raised animals?
저는
Yeah.
거의 없다고 봐야 돼요.
Ah, really? Barely any.
네, 거의 없다.
Mm-hmm.
뭐 옛날에 뭐 시몬키 아니면
What is that? Is that the name of your pet?
아니 시몬키 몰라요?
No, sea monkey. In English we say sea monkey.
네.
오케이,
한국어로 시몬키.
Oh, I didn't know that.
진짜 어릴 때 시몬키 아니면은 진짜 어릴 때 진짜 요만한 물고기?
Little fish.
네, 그런 거 한두 번 키워보고 네, 보통 생각하는 반려동물은 저는 가져본 적이 없어요. 키워본 적이 없어요.
I see.
네, 일단
Yeah.
저 미리 이 에피소드 시작할 때 말하고 싶었습니다. 저 키워본 적이 없습니다. 제가 일단.
Okay, so you don't have a lot of experience with it. That's actually like one of the things I was thinking about though is one of the main reasons that people get a pet. There's a lot of reasons, but one of them is to teach children responsibility. Basically, you get a pet so that your child can learn how to take care of a pet and learn responsibility in a
네.
family.
그렇게 생각해요?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of that's a common reason that people get a pet is so the child will learn, you have to feed it, you have to give it water, you have to take it out for walks, you have to clean it and take care of it. And so, but you can do it with a dog or a cat, but you can do that with a fish or you can do that with sea monkeys. Sea monkeys also teach you some responsibility. Right?
그쵸.
And also, especially with sea monkeys or fish, you learn about life and death as a child.
네, 맞아요.
So it's an early lesson. You learn a little bit about that. So
네.
yeah,
맞습니다. 제가 아까 왜 찌프 얘기를 듣고 좀 놀랐었냐면
yeah.
이번 에피소드에서 반려동물 이야기를 하기로 얘기를 하고 나서 반려동물에 대한 생각을 해보면서 저는 제가 나중에 가정이 생겨서 아이가 생기면 그 아이 교육을 위해서 반려동물을 좀 집에 들이면 좋을 것 같다는 생각을 했거든요.
Yeah.
근데 그 생각을 옛날부터 어렴풋이 했는데 그 계기가 뭐였냐면 제가 고양이를 진짜 좋아하는데 근데 고양이를 키우고 싶지는 않아요.
Oh, why not?
근데 뭐 여러 가지 더 큰 이유들이 있는데
Yeah, there's a lot.
네네 그리고 더 중요한 이유들이 있는데 그거 말고 좀 더 사소한 이유 하나가 뭐냐면 제가 잠시만요. 모기. 됐다. 네,
Okay,
갔어요.
good. Yep.
네. 그 중에 사소한 한 가지의 이유가 뭐냐면 제가 다른 생명체의 똥오줌을 처리해야 된다는 게 너무 너무 귀찮고 이해가 안 되는 거예요.
Yeah, same here. So I actually have a lot of experience with raising pets from when I was younger,
네.
but that's the main reason that I don't have a pet right now. Is I just don't want to deal with that.
네.
So there's the mess. Mess is one reason. Having and actually responsibility is another reason. I don't want the responsibility of having to take my pet outside, 3 times a day or however many times a day. I don't want to do that or feed it. And like I like being able to travel very easily. Like when I decide, I want to go to a different city or go for a weekend, I don't have to schedule somebody to watch my pet or take care of my pet. And then I worry about some of my friends might have allergies, like pet allergies. So I can't invite them to my house if I have a pet because they have allergies. So all these reasons, like that's why I don't have a pet now.
네. 저도 똑같은 이유를 가지고 있습니다.
I see.
네. 근데 그냥 단순히 그렇게 다른 생물의 똥오줌을 치우기 싫어서 키우기 싫다는 말이 아니고,
Yeah.
그러니까 제가 말했잖아요. 그 아이들이 생겼을 때 같이 살면 좋겠다고 느낀 이유가
Yeah.
그렇게 다른 생명체에 막 똥오줌을 그렇게 막 청소해주고 정리해주는 게 사실 부모들이 아기들 어릴 때 아주 아기일 때 해주는 일이잖아요. 근데 고양이, 강아지 그런 반려동물들은 계속 해줘야 되잖아요.
That's right. Yes.
근데 그걸 보고
Yeah.
와, 그 생각해 보니까 그러면은 진짜 반려동물 키우는 사람들은 그 반려동물들을 진짜 사랑하는구나.
True. Yeah.
진짜 대단한 사랑이고 그 대단한 체험이겠다 싶더라고요.
Yeah.
네.
That's true.
전 느껴보지 못한.
I see. So, like, when you're raising a child, eventually the child learns how to take care of itself. But with pets, you always have to be the one that takes care of it. And so you have to, it takes a lot of love to always be able to take care of the pet for their whole life.
그렇죠.
Okay, I have a lot of questions.
아, 네.
I guess let's stick with this topic for just a minute.
네.
There are some people who train their cat to poop in the toilet. This is true. Some
네.
people train their cat to poop in the toilet, actually, so that they don't have to worry about that specifically. Is that true in Korea also? Is that like common there at all?
오,
For here, I would say it's like maybe like 1% or 2% of people. It's not common, but it is
진짜요?
possible. Yeah.
제가 다른 생물의 똥오줌을 치우는 게 귀찮다 이런 생각해서
Yeah.
그래서 그걸 어떻게 좀 해결할 수 있을까 생각을 좀 했었거든요.
Okay.
근데 그 영화 알아요? 그 짐 캐리 나온 그 신이 되는 영화 뭐더라? 그
Oh, okay. Bruce Almighty.
네네네 맞아요.
Okay,
브루스 올마이티 보면은
Yeah.
짐 캐리가 신이 된 다음에 강아지가 변기에 앉아서 그 볼일을 보는 장면이 나오거든요.
Right. There was that
그래서-
scene.
예, 그래서 고양이 그렇게 하면 안 되나? 그 생각을 했는데 근데 그렇게 하는 사람들이 진짜로 있더라고요, 한국에도. 고양이 변기 훈련이라고 검색하면 나오는데
Yeah.
근데 문제는 그게 고양이한테 진짜 큰 스트레스라고 하더라고요.
Really? They don't like it?
그렇대요. 예, 그
아,
본능이랑 완전히 달라서
Okay.
그래서 많지는 않은 것 같아요.
Yeah, that's right. It's not very common. It's just something I remembered.
네.
But the other thing I wanted to bring up, I think I know the answer, but in USA and Canada, some cats we call outdoor cats. So the cats come inside, they eat food, and then they leave. And, they're gone for half the day where they,
네.
they poop outside basically.
그래서
Yeah.
제가 그거 되게 좋다고 생각하거든요.
Mm.
그 제가 생각했던 그 고양이 변기 훈련은 고양이한테 안 좋으니까 취소됐잖아요. 그래서 내린 결론은
Mm-hmm.
그 나중에 돈을 많이 벌어서
Mm-hmm.
그 마당이 있는 집에
Sure.
살면서
Yeah, you need a
네.
house with a yard to do this.
네. 그래서 마당 고양이들을 키우자.
Ah, a yard cat. That makes sense.
네. 그게 최종 정답으로 됐습니다. 저의-
Yeah, that solves your problems. I think so.
네.
You need the money first.
그렇죠. 그렇죠.
Yeah,
제일 비싸죠.
So yeah, I mean, I know in Korea a lot of people have apartments, not houses, and so maybe having outdoor cats is not practical.
맞아요.
Even if you had a house, it would probably be in an area with like a lot of cars and stuff, so it might be difficult to have an outdoor cat.
위험해요. 맞아요.
Yeah, pretty dangerous. Okay.
네.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I gonna say though? Oh yeah. So in Western culture, I'm curious if Korean culture has this too. Sometimes we ask people, "Are you a cat person or a dog person?"
네.
Have you heard this question?
네, 많이 들어봤어요.
Okay. Is there the same question in Korean? Like, do people ask that?
제 생각에는 그렇게 흔하지는 않은 것 같아요.
Okay. Okay.
네, 그렇게 크게 신경을 안 쓰는 주제인 것 같아요.
I see. Okay.
네. 그냥
But yeah.
뭐,
Mm-hmm.
근데 그냥 사람들이 뭐 스몰 토크라고 하는
That's
뭐
right.
아이스 브레이킹이라고 하는 뭐 그런 얘기 하다가 어쩌다가 한 번씩 나올 수 있는 이야기 같아요.
Right. Right. That makes sense.
네.
But yeah, we definitely think of people. Some people like dogs and cats, but some people like cats much more or like dogs much more.
네.
And we think of dog people and cat people as a different type of person, I guess.
오.
So I'm trying to think of the difference. I think dog people I usually think are more active, like more into sports or maybe more extroverted. And cat people are maybe more quiet. They like reading and watching TV, and they're more introverted usually. That's not
그런 것
always
같아요.
true. Yeah.
맞아요. 항상 그런 건 아니지만
Yeah.
진짜 그런 것 같아요.
Yeah.
찌프는 어떤 편이에요?
It's a good question. If I had to pick one, I think I'm a cat person. But I have raised cats and dogs, and honestly, I liked raising dogs more.
오, 그래요?
So I don't know why I feel like I'm a cat person, even though I like raising dogs more. So I don't know. I don't think I can explain it that well. Yeah, I think I like that cats are very independent, especially outdoor cats. They don't need me all the time.
네.
Where with a dog, they always want to be with you and they need your help all the time. And even though I liked that experience, I don't think I would want that experience again. So yeah, that's how I feel.
저도 똑같은 이유로 고양이를 훨씬 더 좋아해요.
Okay.
네, 그 개인 공간이 저는 중요하고 그리고 좀 저는 저만의 시간이 중요하거든요.
I see. Yeah.
네, 근데 강아지들은 계속 관심을 필요로 하잖아요.
Yeah, they need your attention.
네, 와, 저는 그거를
Yeah.
네, 좀 잘 견딜 수가 없더라고요.
Yeah. You have to play with them and they're always bugging you. I mean, cats bug you too and they need your attention too, but sometimes they're with you and sometimes they're separate. Dogs are always with you.
네, 맞아요.
Yeah. Very attention.
정도가 너무 달라서. 네.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed when I visited Korea and with some of the friends that I talked to is that it seems like it's common to raise lizards. Like what do you call it? 도마뱀? Or
네,
something?
도마뱀이요. 도마뱀.
Is that very common or am I wrong? I don't know.
그렇게 흔하진 않아요.
Okay, it's not very common.
네. 그렇게 막 많이 흔하진 않고.
Okay.
근데 찾아보면 한 명쯤은 찾아볼 수 있어요.
I see. Yeah.
네. 그리고 저도 어릴 때 키우고 싶어 했는데 못 키웠어요.
Is your parents wouldn't let you or why not?
네네 부모님이
아.
허락을 안 해주셔서.
I see. I see.
네.
Yeah, I've never raised a lizard, and I don't think I've known anybody who has. I think it's much more rare in the U.S. Honestly.
그렇구나.
Yeah, because like I was saying, there's dog people and cat people, but then there's also what we call snake people.
네.
Some people want to raise snakes or
오.
lizards or something. Yeah.
뱀은 거의 못 봤는데.
Yeah, I think that in the U.S. raising a snake is more common
네.
than a lizard, probably.
네.
Yeah. But then there's also like people who raise birds,
네.
which I think we call them bird people. So cat people,
네.
dog people, snake people, bird people.
네, 네.
And I think I don't understand bird people. I'm very confused by this concept because
그래요?
yeah, my grandma had a bird. It was a cockatoo,
네.
and it was very, very, very loud all the time. Just
카카투 그게 뭐예요?
it's kind of like a parrot, a little bit like a parrot. And it could talk also
네.
because it would. So my grandparents had a dog, and the dog's name was Nikki.
니키.
Yeah, and so my grandma would always say to the dog, "Oh, hi, Nikki. Hi,
네.
Nikki." But then the bird would also say, "Hi, Nikki."
다 따라가는구나.
Yeah. It was really funny. But
어.
I don't know, that bird, it was so loud and it was so mean. It would always like bite people. It
네.
wouldn't let you touch it or get near it. It would always bite you. So,
그래요?
yeah, very mean bird. See, I don't know. Bird people I find very strange. I don't know. I'm confused by the concept of having a bird. So,
저도 자주 보진 못했고 이때까지 살면서 한두 번 봤거든요.
Yeah. Although I just remembered this.
네.
We did have geese actually when I was growing up.
기스가 뭐예요?
Yeah. Koi. We. Right?
구스 그거예요.
Yeah. Yeah. So goose is one, geese is two.
구스의 복수형이구나.
Yeah. That's the plural for goose. Yeah.
네,
Geese.
네.
Yeah. So we had geese. But
왜요? 왜?
very good question. So we also had chickens. The chickens I wouldn't call pets. I would call farm animals. We lived in a rural like farm area, and the chickens we had to lay eggs, so we would eat all the eggs from the chickens, right?
네.
But to protect the chickens, having geese is actually very useful. Because when you live in an area like that, either foxes or coyotes will come try to eat the chickens,
네.
right? But if you have geese, the geese will scare the fox.
오.
So we had pet geese who were just in the yard. They would just walk around in the yard and they would eat bugs or whatever.
네.
But I thought of them as pets, I think, because they had names. Yeah. So I don't know. So I guess I have had birds as a pet, but it's a little bit different.
다르죠. 완전히 다른 상황이죠.
Yeah. I don't think we really ever had to take care of them. They just took care of themselves. Yeah.
근데 그거 되게 좋은 주제인 것 같습니다. 네, 제가 보냈던 질문들 중에도 비슷한 게 있었는데, 그 반려동물을 가족처럼 대하는 문화, 그리고 동물답게 대하는 문화.
답게. What do you mean by 답게?
동물답게. 동물은 동물답게. 사람은 사람답게.
What does that mean? 답게.
네, 그러니까 자, 사람은 사람답게 살아야 한다. 이렇게 말하면 사람은 이 사람이 살아야 하는 것처럼 사람이
Oh, okay.
네네 그 뭐 제가 뭐 한국어 선생님이잖아요. 근데 제가 뭐 예를 들어서 막 계속 한국어 틀리게 말하고 막 한국어를 잘 못해요. 그러면은 뭐 다른 사람이 야 너는 한국어 선생님답지 않게 왜 그래? 이렇게 말할 수 있는 거죠.
I see. Yeah.
네. 그래서 다시 아까 그 질문으로 돌아가면
Right.
그 반려동물을 가족처럼 대하면서 키우는 것 vs 동물은 동물답게 두고 키우는 것. 근데 그 기스는 좀 동물답게 아닌가요?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That some some pets that you raise, you treat like a member of the family. Like they come with you everywhere. You take pictures with them. You might put like clothes on them, like or hat or whatever. You know, you treat it like a human. Maybe
네.
even some families, even the pet might sit at the table or something like that, like really like a family member. But then other pets that you have are treated more like animals, where like the geese that we had, they never came inside. And I don't think we ever like fed them or you know gave them much attention. They just raised themselves as animals. But yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know. I think that most of the pets we raised, they were treated like family members. You know,
네,
they had
네.
names. They would come everywhere with us. They would ride in the car with us, and you know, they'd come camping with us, and like all those things. They would be just like another member of the family. Yeah, it's interesting. And also, actually, I was kind of curious how naming animals works in Korea, because
네.
so in our culture, I think it might depend on the family, but usually we go to find a pet, you know,
네.
either at a store or a shelter. We go somewhere to find a pet.
네.
And there's two options. Number one, it already has a name, or number two, it doesn't have a name yet. So sometimes when you get a pet, it already has a name.
네.
Like this dog's name is, you know, Rough or whatever. So that's just what we're gonna call it. But if it doesn't have a name, usually we think we have to make a name we have to give it a name that day, immediately.
아, 그날 바로 이름을 지어주는 거네요.
Yeah. You look at it and you decide, what is the name right now? Let's decide.
오.
And people like in the family might make a few suggestions, and then you all agree, oh, this is the name. We've not a vote, but you just decide, oh, that sounds right. Yeah.
오, 네.
In Korea, how do you pick a name for an animal? Is it similar or is there something else?
제가 오늘의 팟캐스트 에피소드를 위해 자료 조사를 하긴 했는데 그건 안 알아봤습니다. 그건 못 알아봤어요. 그 생각은 못 했는데 근데 직접 지어주는 경우가 많아요. 여기도. 네. 그리고 주위를 보면 주위를 생각해 보면 뭐 그냥 막 짓는 것 같던데. 네, 막 큰 그런 거 없이 그런
Right.
것 같아요.
But so I don't know. I don't know if this is a weird question. I'm just trying to understand.
네.
Do you pick the name based on what the animal looks like or what the animal acts like how it acts? Or maybe sometimes people, for example, will name a pet after one of their relatives. Like, oh, we had this great grandmother. We really, really liked her. Let's name that pet after that great grandmother, just as an example. And sometimes people will like a name that's like it sounds very cute, like just a cat name, like, you know, Fluffy or like,
아,
you know,
네.
like something like that, Fluffy or whatever.
복실이
sometimes-
이런 느낌인가 보네.
Yeah, but sometimes they like to choose a name that's very, very formal, like
네.
like Sylvester or like Bob or something like that.
네. 오.
So I don't know. What are Korean pet names like? Because I don't feel like I have heard many of them. I'm not sure what types of names people use.
이번에도 제 주위의 사례를 잘 생각해 보면 그러니까 일단은 그 먼 친척 이름을 쓰는 건 저는 한 번도 들어본 적이 없어요.
Really? Oh wow.
네네. 아니, 뭐 어딘가 있을 수도 있겠죠. 근데
Mm-hmm.
근데 제 주위에는 한 번도 못 들어봤고,
Oh, okay. Okay.
그리고 제 생각에는 그러니까 제 주위에는
Mm-hmm.
생김새에 따라서도 이름을 많이 안 짓는 것 같고,
Mm-hmm.
그냥 귀여운 이름을 붙여주는 것 같은데요.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
그냥
Cute
뭐
names.
순이,
Mm.
봉남이. 근데 봉남이처럼
Mm-hmm.
뭔가 사람 이름이랑 비슷한 것도 많이 지어줘요.
Mm-hmm.
사람 이름처럼.
I see.
그리고 그 지나가다 들은 얘긴데 한국에만 있는 건지 모르겠는데
Mm-hmm.
그 반려동물한테 이름을 사람 이름으로 지어주면
Mm-hmm.
오래 산다고 얘기를 좀 해요. 약간의
Oh, okay.
미신이겠죠?
Uh-huh. Oh, so there's Mishin. I know Mishin. It's superstition.
네네네.
So what's the superstition in this case?
슈퍼스티션 미신?
Yeah.
그러니까 뭐 강아지를
Yeah.
그냥 뭐 멍멍이 뭐 실베스터 뭐 이런 그런
Mm-hmm.
강아지 이름 동물 이름 말고
Yeah.
뭐 저는 태웅이니까
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
뭐 제 강아지 이름을 뭐 태식이 뭐 태영이 이렇게 짓는 거예요.
Oh. Uh-huh.
그러면 이 강아지가 더 오래 산다고 그런 믿는 거예요.
Oh, really?
네.
So if you give it a person's name, then maybe they'll live longer. Is this superstition?
네.
Oh, interesting. I've never heard that. Yeah, we don't have that type of superstition here. Let me think if there's any name superstitions. I don't think so. I think people usually try to choose a name based on the look of the animal. Oh, this animal looks like a Bob. This animal looks like a Joe, or this animal looks like a Fido. Fido is a very common dog name, only for dogs. We say Fido, something like that.
파이더가 뭐예요?
It doesn't. I don't think it has a special meaning. It's just a dog name. A name for a dog is Fido. Yeah.
아 그래요?
Yeah.
오.
Yeah. There's actually a famous movie, maybe 15, 20 years old movie called Fido. It's about a family who has a zombie as a pet.
에?
And the zombie's name is Fido.
뭐 그런 영화가 있다고요?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I've never seen it actually, but it's a famous movie.
골 때리는 영화네.
Yeah. But it sounds like a cute dog name. It's Fido. So.
그렇네요.
Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing I was kind of curious about is the main places that we get pets here is either from another person. So somebody has pets and the pets have babies, and then they say, we can't be responsible for all these babies. Please somebody, please somebody take care of these babies. And then that's one way. Another is what we call a pet store.
네.
So you go to a store that has many different types of pets, maybe a few cats, a few dogs, and a few snakes or lizards or things like that. And then the third way is a shelter, what we call animal shelter.
네,
So
네.
some dog got lost or maybe was given away, and now doesn't have a house, right?
네.
And so people can go there and get a dog. We used to call it adopting the dog. I
네,
adopted a dog.
맞아요. 네.
But now we say rescue. These days we say I rescued a dog.
네.
Yeah. So if you get a dog from a shelter, we call it a rescue dog.
네. 그러면은 예를 들어 지프가 그 보호소에 가서 잠시 보호소에 있는 그 강아지를 키우기로 했을 때 그때 지프가 그 이 강아지를 구조했다고 해요?
That's right.
아,
Yeah.
그렇게 하는구나.
Yeah, we say we rescue the dog. Yeah.
오,
So,
오,
Yeah.
네. 한국도 거의 똑같거든요.
oh, really? Mm-hmm.
네네네. 근데 제가 알기로는 구조를 하는 거는
Mm-hmm.
그 진짜 그 보호소나 아니면 그 길에서 막 뭐 아픈 다친 뭐 아니면 뭐 길을 잃은 그런 강아지 고양이들을 그 보호소에 데려다 주거나 아니면 자기가 그때 그 길에서 구하는 걸 구조한다고 많이 얘기를 하는 것 같고
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
네, 그렇게 해서 보호소에 있는 그 반려동물을 제가 데리고 온다. 그때는 입양했다고 많이 말하는 것 같아요.
Adopting, right?
네, 네, 그렇죠.
Right. I see. You just reminded me. There's a fourth way.
Oh,
Sometimes people just find an animal, like find a dog or a cat that's on the street that's lost or that's hurt or something like that,
네,
and then adopt or rescue that pet, bring them to their house and feed them, and then they might become a pet. So
그쵸,
that happens
그쵸.
too. Yeah. I've never had that experience though. Yeah. It's interesting.
한국도 거의 똑같아요. 거의 똑같은데
Mm-hmm.
한 10년, 20년 전에는
Mm-hmm.
동물 가게가 꽤 있었거든요.
동물 가게.
네.
Pet store. Yeah, go ahead.
네, 그렇죠.
Yeah.
근데 많이 줄어들었어요.
Really? There's less now?
네.
I feel like there's less here too. I think I agree with that. There's more shelters, less stores. There's also like what we call maybe like professional breeders. We would say professional breeder.
오, 네.
So that's people who who have animals that they breed.
네.
Breed means make more baby animals,
네,
and
네.
then sell those animals as a business. So their
네.
business is to make babies and then sell babies.
네.
Yeah.
한국에도 있어요.
Yeah.
그리고 제 집 근처에도 하나 있어요.
Oh, really?
네.
What type?
무슨 강아지를 주로 팔던데
Mm-hmm.
조만한 강아지 팔거든요.
조만한.
작은 강아지.
Okay.
근데 무슨 뭐 프리미엄 펫 스토어 이렇게 이름 붙여놓고 하는데
Yeah.
전 사실 저는 안 좋아합니다.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
네, 좀 별로예요.
Yeah. Like you said, they're pretty expensive, but also it's not. It seems like a really bad for society type thing, like to
네.
do that. Yeah, it's a
네.
bad business to be in. I agree.
네, 사실 진짜 싫어해요.
Yeah.
네,
So yeah, a lot of people, try to avoid buying from breeders because it's just really bad. And that's why I think maybe the term changed from adopted to rescue is that people want to encourage going to the shelter and getting a pet from there because it's just much better for a lot of reasons. And so saying it's a rescue, makes it feel a little more important or a little more special or like better, I guess. So, yeah.
그렇네요.
Mm-hmm.
네,
Yeah. But like I was saying that some animals already have a name. When you get a pet from the shelter, often it already has a name.
네, 그렇죠. 뭐라고요? 쉘터에서?
Yeah. When you go to the
Ah.
shelter, it'll say the name of each animal at the shelter.
네. 근데 저는
Mm-hmm.
그렇게 뭐 쉘터든 아니면 다른 사람의 그 뭐 이웃의 고양이 강아지들이 새끼를 낳아서 그거를 봤든
Mm-hmm.
저는 개인적으로는 이름이 있는 아이들을 데리고 오는 게 좀 더 좋을 것 같아요. 저는.
Mm-hmm.
네, 제 생각엔.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
네.
that's cool. So I know this is far in the future. You're
네.
talking about if you had a kid and if you had a house, you might
네.
have a cat. Do you have some idea about what type of cat you would want?
있죠.
Oh, really? What type?
그 한국의 길에 많이 있는 고양이들 타입?
Mm-hmm.
그거를 뭐더라? 무슨 뭐 탭이라고 하던가?
Tabby.
네, 되게 그냥 평범하게 털 짧은
Mm-hmm.
그리고 막 뭐 치즈 뭐 까만색
Mm-hmm.
무슨 뭐 회색 뭐 이렇게 막 색깔 몇 가지 그 종류 있는 고양이.
Yep. Yep.
저는 그런 평범한 고양이들을 진짜 좋아해요.
Oh, cool.
네.
Yeah, we call it tabby, or we can also say calico. Calico cat, tabby cat.
오.
Yeah. Yeah, those are cute. I've never had that type of cat. I've had maybe 3 or 4 cats, and they've all been either black or black and white.
아, 네, 네.
Yeah, and I think if I had a cat again, I would probably get a black cat. I really like black cats.
혹시 이유가 있어요?
No, I don't know why. I think
Okay.
I don't know what the reason is. Yeah, it just that's how I feel. I can't explain it. Yeah.
저는 그 치즈색 치즈색 한 마리 하고 그 회색의 그 호랑이처럼 무늬 있는 그 한국에선 고등어라고 하거든요.
Ah, yeah. Uh-huh.
네, 고등어 탭이
Mm-hmm.
그렇게 2마리를 꼭 키우고 싶습니다. 뭐 더 많으면 더 좋겠지만요.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
네.
And also, if you have more than one, they can be friends with each other and take care of each other and stuff like that. So it's good. Yeah.
저는 그게 진짜 좋다고 생각해요. 한 마리만 두면 제가 안 놀아주면 놀 상대가 없잖아요.
Right. Yeah.
네, 그래서 꼭 2마리 이상이 좋은 것 같아요.
Right. Yeah. If you have just one, they don't have anything to play with. So having a friend to play with.
네.
Yeah. Whenever we had pets when I was a kid, we never had just one. We would always have a dog and a cat, or 2 cats and a dog, or things like that. Yeah, it was good. But it's also interesting because, especially with cats, they have very different personalities. So we would have 2 cats, and they would be completely different types of cats. Yeah. So like one would be like, very lazy and quiet, and then the other would be like very energetic and very loud. And so, yeah, it always depends. Yeah. Yeah.
찌프는 좀 선호하는 스타일이 있어요?
What do you mean by 선호? What does that mean?
더 좋아하는?
For the personalities of cats, I mean, I like a cat that would be very cuddly, we would say, wants to come to you and be pet, and
네.
isn't scared, like very, very
네.
calm. We'd say calm, like 침착하다.
네, 침착하거나.
Yeah, I like that type of cat a lot more. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That would be my style. But I don't know. I still think I don't want to actually have a pet anytime soon.
네, 저도 그렇긴 합니다. 저도 그런데 근데 이렇게 언젠가 저는 키우는 상상을 계속 하니까 그 드는 생각이 뭐냐면 특히나 고양이 같은 경우들이요. 원래 원래 그 성격이 독립적인 경우가 많고 그러다 보니까 좀 그 주인 같이 사는 사람을 좀 뭐랄까 좀 존경하지 않는다던가 좀 사랑을 안 보여주는 고양이들이 많잖아요.
Yeah, that's true.
네, 근데 저는 만약에 제가 그 고양이가 아주 어릴 때, 아주 새끼일 때부터 키워서 굉장히 뭐랄까요, 좀 애정을 많이 주고 좀 제가 이 고양이가 저를 필요로 할 때 항상 딱 가서 잘 해주고 그렇게 딱 부족함 없이 사랑을 주고 키우면 얘도 나를 사랑을 해줄까? 막 이런 생각을 하거든요.
Right.
왜 이런 생각을 했냐면 그 사람이요. 그 아기 때 그 부모님한테 어떻게 사랑을 받느냐에 따라 그 막 무슨 막 뭐 사람이 이제 뭐 적극적으로 표현을 하는 스타일 아니면 무슨 막 문제가 있으면 그걸 거기서 도망치는 스타일. 그 막 뭐 혼란스러운 스타일 막 이런 게 있잖아요.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
예, 그래서 이제 아기 때 이 사랑을 계속 주고 계속 같이 있어주는 게 아이한테 좋다고 하잖아요. 근데 그게 혹시 고양이도 그럴까? 이런 생각을.
I think so. Yeah, I think if you raise a cat or a pet for a very long time, they like grow to love you back. I think that's true. And it does depend on the animal because I'm not trying to be mean. Some animals are very, very smart and some are really stupid. like some are just stupid.
아, 그건 사실이죠. 사실이죠. 네. 그쵸, 그쵸.
but yeah, I do think that they like do grow to love their owners. If you're good to them, they're good to you, and that they do love you and take care of you and all that. I do think so. Yeah.
네.
But yeah,
그럼
I don't
좋겠네요.
what else though?
네.
But yeah, having a pet for a long time, yeah, it's really nice. Then I mean, there's the problem. I already mentioned this at the start. Is like I said, having sea monkeys or fish, you learn about life and death
네.
because their lives are very short. And you know, the same is true with cats and dogs. They live for 10 years ish. 15 or 20 it would be very, very long life for a dog or a cat. And so if you have a pet, you're probably also going to see that pet die, which is, you know, it's so sad to deal with, right?
그렇죠.
For some people, it's really hard. And
아, 그렇죠, 그렇죠.
and some people, what I've seen, this is just the experience I've seen from other people. They might have a few pets, and then they have a really, really good pet that lasts for a very long time.
네.
And then after that, they can't really have a pet anymore because
오.
they lost the one that they had that was so great. So yeah, it's really hard.
맞아요, 맞아요. 그런 사람들이 많이 있어요.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's that.
치푸는 키워본 경험이 많았다고 했잖아요.
Yeah.
치푸 경우는 어땠어요?
Oh, it was good. I mean, so I had a few different pets, like cats and dogs. Some of the cats, when they died, it was because of an accident. Like either they got attacked by, you know, an animal, you know, in the forest,
네.
or I think maybe one of them got hit by a car. So, you know, accidents happen like that. But we had a dog. I think this is interesting, is that, like I said, a dog's life is pretty short. This dog lived for about 15 or maybe 20 years. It was a very long time. We got the dog when I was young, maybe 7 years old or 6 years old, very young.
네.
So me and the dog were both very, very young, right?
네.
And we, you know, played together all the time. And, you know, I grew older and the dog also grew older. And then I moved away because I went to college.
네.
And so the dog still lived with my parents.
네.
So when the dog was very young, I was young, and we were kind of the same age. And then when I was older, my dog was about much older, right?
그렇죠.
The dog got
네.
older faster than me. And so my dog lived with my parents, and my parents and my dog felt like they were together sort of the same age, right? Because my
네,
parents
네.
were older and my dog was older.
맞네요, 맞네요.
And then years later, my parents moved, but they couldn't take the dog with them. It just wasn't possible. And so they actually gave my dog to my grandparents, who are still alive.
네.
So my dog,
이제는 네.
so my dog moved in with my grandparents. My dog was very old, and my grandparents were very old together.
그렇죠.
And so they would always, like, you know, just sit on the couch and watch TV. They would just sit and watch TV all day. But they were together at a very old age.
오.
And
오.
my dog and my grandma, they both died maybe the same year, like almost the same year. And so I don't know. But I think my dog had a very, very good life.
그런데
But it had this, like, when it was young and then when it was middle age and then was older, it was with the type of people who fit very well with it. And so I don't know. So I wasn't really there when my dog died, but I think I had a good life.
그렇네요.
Yeah.
얘기 들어보니까 괜찮은 것 같아요.
Yeah. So
네.
Yeah.
어떻게 딱 그렇게 타이밍 맞게 절묘하게
음.
딱딱딱 됐네요.
yeah, exactly. It worked out. Yeah.
와우. 좋은데?
Yeah. I've also heard this Korean phrase. I don't know the Korean phrase, but it's like it translates to like a dog's life is the best life. Like 개 사는 게 너무 좋아요. Like it's not
네?
exactly that. 개 사는 것이
네.
개 좋은 삶이에요. Like isn't there a Korean phrase like that? Dogs have like the best life.
저는 안 들어봤는데.
Oh,
뭐지? 네.
I'll see if I can find it. Okay.
제가 못 들어본 걸 수도 있어요.
Oh.
뭐지?
Okay, let me search. Give me a second.
네.
Okay. 사는 게
개팔자가 상팔자다 이 말이에요, 혹시?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
맞아요.
Yeah, can you say it again?
개팔자가 상팔자.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I think that's a really interesting phrase.
그래요?
mhm.
막 사람은 해야 할 일들과 내야 할 집세와 뭐 그런 것들이 막 일이 많잖아요, 인생에. 근데 걔는 좀 단순하잖아요, 인생이.
Exactly. Simple life. Yeah.
네. 그래서 막 나는 인간인 나는 이렇게 막 신경 쓸 게 많고 너무 바쁘고 힘든데 걔는 그냥 뭐 아무 생각 없이 그냥 사니까 진짜 개팔자가 상팔자다 그냥 이렇게.
Exactly.
네, 그렇게
Yeah,
표현하는.
If I could live like a dog, oh wow, everything would be so much simpler. I wouldn't have to work. I could just play and enjoy. Yeah, so
그쵸.
that's what I think of. Yeah, I don't think we have a similar. In English, we have a phrase. It's a dog's life, but I think it has a bad meaning, not a good meaning. I actually don't know what it means. Let me search really quick for that.
네.
A dog's life and see what it means. Yeah, it means not good. A dog's life means like living in the streets, having a bad life in English.
그쵸,
So it's completely different meaning.
네.
Yeah.
근데 개팔자가 상팔자다. 저는 그 표현을 언제 쓰는지 사실 잘은 모르겠어요.
Yeah. It's just a common phrase, I think.
네. 그 실제로 쓰는 상황을 한 번도 본 적이 없어서.
You haven't used it, but you've just heard it somewhere.
네.
Okay.
네. 아무튼 그렇습니다.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you have any more questions or stories about pets?
글쎄요. 아니 저는 제 생각보다 훨씬 더 많은 이야기가 나온 것 같아요. 이미. 네. 이거 근데 생각보다 할 수 있는 이야기가 너무 많은데요. 일단 할 수 있는데 우리가 아직 얘기 안 한 작은 주제들.
Sure.
뭐 식당.
Okay.
이런 곳에 개를 애완동물, 반려동물을 데리고 갈 수 있는지 뭐 없는지 그런 거.
Sure.
네, 그리고 또 대중교통이나 비행기에.
Yes. Great
그리고
question.
비행기 그 옆자리에 동물을 태우는 거에 대한 생각.
Right.
뭐 그런 거. 그리고 뭐
Yeah.
또 다른 주제로는 뭐 동물을 뭐 훈련하는 방식 뭐 그런 것도 얘기해 볼 수 있을 것 같고 좀 작은 주제가 많네요, 생각보다.
Right. Yeah. Well, so okay, let's talk about what would we call it in English? It's what is it called in English? Support animals, I think we call it.
네.
So that could be somebody who can't see very well, might need a dog to lead them. Like we call it sometimes a seeing eye dog. Or you might need a dog to protect you for some reason. That
네.
can happen. But we generally we call it support animal. Somebody, for example, this is just an example. Somebody might have like a very like nervous or anxious personality. They get like very scared very easily. And if they have a pet with them, they feel more calm, they feel more relaxed, they feel more happy. And so they might, because this can be like a real, like a doctor says, please take this animal with you. They might have some condition where they need to have an animal with them to feel safe
네, 네.
or feel comfortable. And so in that case, we call it a support animal or a support dog. And they get a special, usually it would be like a special tag on their collar or maybe
네.
a special like shirt that says, oh, this is a
맞아요.
support animal.
맞아요, 맞아요.
Yeah. And in that case, you can take them into restaurants or you can take them on the plane or on a train or, things like that. But there's sort of a problem with this also, is some people, without a doctor or without any specific reason, will just say, my animal is a support animal because I want to take my animal on the plane with me for no special reason. They just want to do it. And so,
사기잖아, 사기.
yeah, exactly. They're just sort of cheating the system.
네.
And so because of that, like, some people do legitimately actually need, service animal. That's the other word, service animal.
서비스 애니멀.
Service animal. Some people legitimately do need a service animal, and some people are just totally cheating, but you can't tell which ones are real and which ones are fake.
아, 그래요?
And yeah, there's no way to tell because somebody might be lying or they might be telling the truth about their real service animal or fake service animal. We don't know. And so some people get really annoyed by this problem where people will lie about having a service animal even though it's not.
네.
So I don't know. That's sort of I guess maybe the culture of service animals in USA. I don't know how in Korea. I assume you probably have service animals.
있어요. 있는데
Yeah.
그 눈이 안 보이는 분들을 위한
Yeah.
그런 분들을 돕는 보통 강아지인데 근데 우리는 그냥 안내견이라고 불러요. 안내해주는 강아지, 안내견.
Right. Guide dog.
네, 가이드 독이죠. 근데 그거 말고 다른 목적으로 같이 있는 동물은 저는 아직까지는 들어본 이야기가 없거든요. 글쎄요, 어떤 서포트를 주는 거예요?
So like I said,
안내견 빼고.
So like I said, some people get very anxious or scared in public places. And-
저는
And so they need a pet with them to feel calm or feel relaxed or feel okay or safe.
그러니까 저는 그걸 처음 들어봐요.
You've never heard of that before.
네, 그런 개념조차 몰랐어요.
Okay. That's maybe the more common case. There might be some other cases as well, but those are the two most common. Yeah.
진짜 이건 문화가 다른 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think so.
네. 우와, 그런 게 있구나.
Yeah. There could also be I think I've heard cases where some people for example like older people will have a dog that if that old person is in danger, like they have a stroke or they have a heart attack,
네.
the dog can, contact somebody to come, help them or something like that. It sounds crazy, but I think I think I've heard of that too. Maybe I'm making this up.
스마트폰 이렇게 꺼내서 혀로
I don't know.
죄송합니다.
Yeah.
네. 아무튼 계속 얘기하면 돼요.
Okay. Does the dog take out a phone and call the hospital? I don't know. I don't know. I think I've just heard of this. Maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, but
네.
I think that there are cases where somebody who's older might have a dog that can yeah, go find somebody to help when a problem happens. Yeah,
네.
I've heard of that.
어.
I don't know if I'm making this up.
근데
hmm
근데 그 찌프는 아무래도 프로그래머지 않습니까?
Yeah.
프로그래머죠. 프로그래머가 뭐 하는
Yeah, I'm a
사람이
programmer.
뭐 하는 사람입니까? 프로그래머가
Mm-hmm.
문제를 해결하는 사람 아닌가요?
Yeah, that's true.
그쵸,
Yeah.
그쵸, 그쵸.
Yeah, yeah. As a programmer, I could find a way to like help people have a problem rather than having a dog. Yeah.
아니
No,
제가
what do you
제가 얘기한 이유는
Mm-hmm.
그 우리가 아까 그 강아지가 도움을 찾는다고 할 때 좀 비웃었잖아요.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
근데 그 강아지가 실제로 도움을 요청할 수 있는 방법이 있는지 한번 고민해 볼 수 있지 않을까요?
You're saying I could make an app for a dog to use if there's a problem?
꼭 앱이 아니더라도 어떻게 하면 쓸 수 있지?
I don't know.
강아지가 도와줄 수 있지?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about it. Yeah, maybe there's some alarm button they can push or
네.
something like. Oh, I just remembered something.
뭔데요?
So in movies and in TV shows,
네.
pets like dogs and cats
네.
will have what's called a pet door or a dog door,
네.
where they can go in and out of the house,
네.
like through a hole in the door.
네.
I've never seen one in real life, ever, never.
저도.
Yeah. So I don't know if those are real, if people actually do have dog doors, or if that's just in TV or movies. So I was curious, maybe in Korea, if they have dog doors.
저도 한 번도 못 봤어요.
Yeah, I've never seen one.
네. 심지어 저 어릴 때는
Mm-hmm.
저 어릴 때는 이렇게 아파트 문에
Yeah, yeah.
문 아래쪽에 발이랑 가까운 아래쪽에
Yeah.
그 편지 봉투 넣는
Yeah.
그 이렇게 동그랗게 생긴 문이 있었어요. 딱 요만해요.
And it was for mail originally?
네.
Okay. Uh-huh.
근데 뭐 지금은 없어졌죠.
Okay. Now they don't have that, but used to
네.
have a mail slot. Yeah, instead of having a circle in our culture, we would have a thin slot like this. We call it a mail slot, where they can put it through. I've seen that, but yeah, I've never seen a dog door.
저도 한 번도 못 봤어요.
Interesting. Yeah, one other thing we didn't talk about.
네.
This might be too big a topic, but some people, there's dog people and there's cat people. There's
네.
snake people. There's bird people.
네.
There's also horse people.
네.
But the thing about horse people is you have to be rich to be a horse person.
그렇죠. 엘레강스하네요. 엘레강스.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very elegant. So anyway, yeah, I think I've known a few people who've had horses.
그래요?
And they were definitely very rich.
네. 누구 게이브 뉴엘 그런 분이에요?
But it was people who worked at Valve, yeah. I don't think Gabe had a horse, but yeah. But yeah, I knew people who had a horse, and there was some people who had like goats or cows or things like that too.
진짜요?
Yeah. Yeah.
게이브 뉴엘은 반려동물이 없었나요?
I'm not sure, honestly. I knew his children and I knew his wife, but I've never been to his house, and I don't know, if he had pets or not. I'm not sure. Good question. He never mentioned it, so I don't know.
그렇죠. 사생활 프라이버시가 많은 사람이네요.
Yeah, true.
그렇죠. 얼마나 피곤하겠어요. 그렇죠? 네.
Okay.
아무튼 그래서 제가 아까 이 주제 얘기할 때 그 꺼낸 이유는 뭐였냐면 그러니까 그 안내견 그 서포트 애니멀 말고 이제 그냥 키우는 강아지 그냥 키우는 강아지를 데리고 그 식당에 들어갈 수 있냐 없냐.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot you asked that.
네네네.
Usually no. I would say just by default, usually no.
그렇죠.
But there are some restaurants or places where they'll call it pet friendly or dog friendly. So if there's a sign that says dog friendly, it means you can bring your dog there. But it's pretty rare. It's not common. Usually if you go to a restaurant, it's possible you can leave your dog outside. So your dog has like a leash, right?
네.
Leash is like the rope. You tie the rope to something, and they stay outside and wait. Or you just leave them at home. But
그렇죠. 근데 그렇게 가게 밖에 묶어놓을 바에는
yeah,
그냥 집에 두고 나오는 게 좀 더 낫지 않을까요?
true. Yeah, I think it's better to leave them at home. But
그렇죠.
but if you were out walking the dog and then you needed to buy something at the store, or you needed to buy something at a cafe,
네.
it'll only take 5 minutes. You can tie your dog and then go in, buy something, and then come back.
맞아요, 맞아요.
Yeah. Maybe not a restaurant because that might take 30 minutes or an hour. It's a little long. Yeah.
네, 맞아요.
But yeah, there's dog-friendly places, and then there's also places where you can't bring your dog in,
네.
but they might have some water or a snack that they can give to the dog outside. So they bring out some water for the dog while the dog waits.
오.
Yeah, this is in towns where where a lot of people have dogs. If the dogs
네.
are very, very common, sometimes stores or restaurants will have water outside for the dog or a little snack.
하긴 뭐 그 손님 대다수가 반려동물이 있는 곳이라면 좀 눈치를 봐야 하지 않겠어요?
Yeah, that's right.
네, 그렇죠.
Yeah,
맞아요. 결국 그렇게 사회가 점점 바뀌니까.
that's right. Oh my God, I just remembered one more thing.
네.
So, there's dog people and cat people.
네.
Some places in USA is very big. There's many cities, right? In
네.
different places. Some cities have more dogs and some cities have more cats.
그래요?
Yeah. So you could say, oh, this city has a lot of dog people or this city has a lot of cat people. I think that is when you move from one city to a new city in the USA, you start to see, oh wow, everybody has dogs here. Or
네.
some places everybody has small dogs, some places everybody has big dogs, or things like that. So you see like the differences in different areas in the USA.
네.
Yeah.
재밌네요.
Yeah, it's interesting.
그러면 무슨 드라마에 나오는 것처럼 되게 좀 사회적으로 성공하고 싶은 야망이 있는 사람은 이 도시에 이사를 갔는데 다들 큰 개를 키우고 있어요.
Yeah.
그러면 나도 큰 개를 키우면 사람들을 많이 만나고 얘기를 많이 할 수 있겠지? 이렇게 생각해서 키우는 경우도 있을 수도 있겠네요.
Right. That's true. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's all I have though.
네네. 얘기를 많이 한 것 같은데.
Yeah.
한 가지 얘기를 해보고 싶었던 게 있는데 좀 민감할 수도 있는 얘기라서 얘기를 할까 말까 모르겠네요. 제가 예전에 인스타그램에서 봤는데 어떤 사람이 그 서포트 애니멀 그런 거 아니고
Okay.
그냥 자기 고양이를 비행기에 데리고 타서
Okay.
그 좌석은 2개 끊어서요.
Okay. So they bought a seat for the cat on the plane.
네. 좌석을 2개 끊어서
Okay.
그래서 그 옆자리에 고양이를 그냥 태우고 비행을 한 거죠. 근데 저는 일단 그게 되는 것도 놀랍고 그게 미국이었을 거예요, 아마.
I've never seen that. I've never heard of that.
예.
I think the biggest problem would be some people on the plane might have cat allergies, which would, be pretty bad.
그러니까요. 아니,
Yeah.
근데 그 사람이
Yeah.
그 인스타그램에 그 영상을 올린 그 약간 뉘앙스, 목적 그게 막 고양이가 뭐 몇 시간 동안의 긴 그 비행기를 뭐 다들 뭐 못 견딜 거라고 생각하죠. 우리 고양이는 잘 견딥니다. 그러니까 이런 메시지랑 같이 올렸어요. 그래서 그 실제로 고양이가 막 날뛰거나 막 애옹애옹 하지 않고
right.
계속 그 자리에 얌전히 그냥 있고 뭐 그냥 낮잠 자고 뭐 창밖에 구경하고 뭐 그런 영상만 나와요.
I see.
그
Very
full-
well-behaved cat.
네네 그 모든 비행이 어땠는지는 모르지만
Yeah.
근데 저는 그거 보고 깜짝 놀랐거든요.
Yeah. I would be surprised too.
그거 보고 진짜 깜짝 놀랐는데
Mm-hmm.
근데 댓글을 보니까
Uh-huh.
아니나 다를까
Mm-hmm.
저는 저 같은 사람이 많을 줄 알았는데
Uh-huh.
근데 상당히 많은 수의 댓글 그리고 또 그 좋아요 수를 많이 받은 댓글들이 어떤 댓글이었냐면
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
저런 조용한 고양이가 막 계속 비행 시간에 막 꽥꽥 우는 아기들보다 낫다.
Right.
그런 댓글이 있더라고요.
So you expected in the comments there would be people like you who were like shocked or like, thought it was a bad idea, but
네.
instead there was comments from people who were really supporting this and saying, if you can have a baby that cries all the time on a plane, why can't you have a cat that just sleeps and is nice and quiet?
네.
That's weird. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm just thinking about the comments. Like,
네.
people who would, thumbs up or thumbs up or thumbs down the comments.
네.
If somebody is being angry or, saying what, you shouldn't have a cat, that's a bad idea, they just get thumbs down, right? And so they go to the bottom. And then people are like, oh, it's so cute. They get the thumbs up. And so those go to the top.
아 근데 인스타그램은 thumbs 다운이 없어요.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
네, 그냥 하트만 있어요.
I see it. Oh, just
Yeah.
hearts. Okay.
네.
But I don't know. I would be surprised by that too. I think it's weird. Honestly, I'll tell you my, I crying babies on planes really,
네.
really bothers me too, actually.
그쵸. 아이 누가
It's the worst.
괜찮겠어요, 사실.
But like, parents, have to be able to transport their baby somehow, right?
네.
So like, that's just how it is. But with cats, there's other options, right?
그렇죠.
You don't have to bring it on the seat next to you. Even if it's just sleeping,
네.
people have cat allergies. And I think that could be, dangerous for some people even.
그러니까 그게 핵심이죠.
Yeah.
그게 핵심이잖아요. 아무리 고양이가 조용하고 뭐 가만히 있는다고 해도
Right.
그 고양이가 비행기 안에 있다는 것 자체로
Yeah.
문제가 생길 수 있잖아요.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. I've never experienced or heard of any story where cats were on the plane.
네.
I've seen one or two cases where dogs were on the plane, but again, those were service animals.
네.
So maybe they were necessary.
네.
Yeah, it's weird.
이상하죠.
Yeah. It's interesting.
네. 참. 그래서 참 그 영상을 보고 충격을 받아서 댓글이 엄청 많잖아요. 그런 바이럴 영상에는. 그래서 그 댓글들과 그 댓글에 달린 답글들을 보면서 참 마음이 착잡한 채로 좀 시간을 보냈었습니다.
I
참,
see. Yeah.
참 세상이 좀 뭔가 좀 살기 힘들다 이렇게 그런 생각을 했었습니다.
I see.
네. 그럼 뭐 반려동물 에피소드는 이쯤에서 마무리할까요?
Yeah. Let's wrap this one up.
네. 이게 항상 느끼는 건데 가끔씩 이렇게 그 할 수 있는 이야기가 엄청 많은데 다 못하는 에피소드들이 가끔씩 있는 것 같아요.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even though you haven't raised very many pets, you still had a lot to say. So it was
그렇죠. 또 이게 좀 사회적인 부분도 있으니까.
Right.
네.
Talking about just society in general or culture. Yeah.
네. 그래서 뭐 아쉽지만 이번 반려동물 펫 에피소드는 그럼 이쯤에서 마무리하겠습니다.
Mm-hmm.
네, 여러분도 재밌게 들어주셨으면 좋겠고요. 그리고 여러분도 이런 뭐 고양이 비행기에 데리고 타기, 뭐 식당에 강아지 데리고 가기, 아니면 뭐 또 우리가 얘기했던 뭐 키우는 방법, 키우는 스타일 이런 거에 대해서 생각이 있으시면 댓글 달아주시고요, 제발. 그리고 또
Yeah.
네, 주제.
It'll depend a lot on the person, how you've raised your pets and what situations you've seen pets in. Yeah, leave some comments. Let us know your stories. Have you ever seen a cat on a plane? I don't think so, but if you have, I'm curious.
네, 네. 네, 저희 궁금합니다. 여러분 댓글로 많이 알려주시고요. 그러면 저희는 또 다음 주에 유익하고 흥미로운 내용으로 돌아오겠습니다. 그러면 지금까지 저는 반반 팟캐스트 하프앤하프의 정태웅이었습니다. 감사합니다.
I'm Jeep. You've been listening to Half and Half, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.